This is another boombap Kingdom beat breakdown.
Yo, peace and welcome back to the boombap Kingdom. This is another quick beat breakdown for you guys. I busted something down on the MV-8800 and I just kind of wanted to go through it, let you guys know how I made this beat. So let's see. There's a couple of tracks. So I have 1, 2, 3 hi-hat tracks. I have a drum track. I added an extra kick. I have a main loop, so I did a track for the main loop. And then I did a bass line track, and so that's going to be a one shot that I put into keyboard mode. So the MV-8800 has a mode called keyboard mode. It would be similar to a key group in MPC. It's still quite different because you can choose to stretch it out into like 88 keys. And I have 2 offset tracks and then I have a hook track. So what do these things sound like? So my first track here, I have a hat, and you guys know I like to do a thick hat and a small hat. Here's my thick hat. This is my small hat. I did drop an open in this one. And obviously all these are pitched. I added an extra kick. So now my loop consists of about 5 chops that I created. That's pretty much it. And I just kind of went in on that. These are not one shots. These are set as like the MPC. These would be note on, note off. On the MV, what I did here is I just shut all this down. And that gives me like the equivalent of, like, see, I could turn this off, this one shot. And that kind of gives me the equivalent of a note on, note off type of situation. I did not pitch this particular sample. When I created it, I liked the pitch, so I kept it that way. Let me see in terms of effects. I can go into the mixer. There's nothing really special going on, just a little bit of delay, a little bit of reverb. So what you hear is exactly basically the texture and the sonics that I created that sample in. That's what you're getting here. I did do a bass. I threw that bass into output part 3, bank 3. And basically, so like I was saying earlier, on the MV, this is similar to a key group, but you can stretch it out 88 keys. The MV-8000 and 8800 kind of approached their version of a key group more like an actual piano. So that's how I set that up. And then I do have an offset. And I actually have more than one. So I have like 2 or 3 offsets, just 2 different tracks for that. And then I have a nice hook track. And that's using the same, it's using one of these guys from one of the previous output parts. So in terms of effects, I did add some effects on here. And these kind of things are good to know because it gives you ideas on what you can do for your own, beats. My loop, I didn't really add any effects to the loop. The bass, I do believe I kind of ran that through the low pass, and I think I did it on the sample itself. Yes, I did, you see. So I actually ran the bass through a low pass. I did the cutoff at 90. I added a little bit of amplification here, and that's pretty much it. And I think when you run your bassline samples, if you're like me and you use one shots, for your bass, sometimes they can pop, they can click. But if you do it through the low pass, and sometimes you can also, create an envelope, start and finish a slight little envelope, and then you run it through the low pass. You can get rid of any pops, any clicks at the beginning or the end of that bass line, and that's what I did here. So when you hear me, right, I could just go to town, and you don't get the pops and the clicks. So that's a pretty dope tip for you guys. And with my offsets, let me see. The only thing I did with these offsets was I really just adjusted the level. This one is running through a bandpass filter though, that horn. And then I actually made a couple of little changes, if you could see down here. Like there's a little bit of resonance I added. If you listen, you can kind of hear that, right? I did a little cutoff. Here's a little resonance right here, etc. There's a little bit more reso right there. I bumped up that amplitude all the way, and I did pitch this one. If you look here, there's no pitch, So let's see. These drums, I know I pitched. Yeah, so my drums, I definitely pitched -3. That guy is not pitched, but he's doubled up. So that's -6 on that hat. Oh, that's a +5. And that's a -3. Now I'm running all these drums. If you can see, I'm running all these drums through the low pass filter. And that helps you get some griminess on those drums. It's not a lot of cutoff there. It's, pretty slight. The cutoff goes up to 127. I just dropped it to 110. So it's pretty slight, but they definitely warm up when you run those drums through that low pass. So that was the quick breakdown, a little beat breakdown on this track I made here on the 8800. And at this point, I think what I'll do is hit you guys with a BBK salute. And leave you all with the finished joint.